New Style Radio, 98.7 FM, Breakthrough Studios, and Reggae Jam.
Is it COVID-19? Good afternoon. How you doing? Welcome to another program in the series of What's on Your Mind. I am Carl. The program is produced by breakthroughtv@gmail.com. Let me say thank you for tuning in. Before I move on, I want to say a big shout out to my good friends there in the United States. Hector McClure, belated happy birthday. I got to do it now before I forget. Also want to say a big shout out to you, Victor. How you doing? Hope all is well with you. Thanks for your support. And let me say a big shout out to all you guys who actually take the time to support the program. Massive respect. And don't forget, this program is actually a live stream. So I am here right now. So if you see a little bit of this or a little bit of that, I always call it is a live stream. Yeah. Got in the studio with me today, the wonderful Maureen Watson. How you doing, Maureen?
I'm fine, thank you. Hi.
Welcome to Breakthrough TV.
Thank you.
How's your day been?
It's been a lazy day today. Yes.
What have you been up to?
Well, I've been on annual leave from Monday through to Wednesday, so I've done a bit of housework, but I've just been lazing around other than that. Bit of sunshine, not much.
And you're not complaining about the weather?
I'm not complaining.
Like those people, oh, it's too hot.
Plenty of water.
You know those ones. Oh, it's too hot. I'm too hot to work in here. You know those ones. Don't they really get you? You know, oh, I can't work. It's too hot. I shouldn't be working in this condition. You know those ones.
Yes, you just have to have regular showers and freshen up and chill out, you know.
I shouldn't be working at a place like this. It's too hot. Shouldn't do that, should I really?
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
You're an author. Tell me a little bit. You write poems and that sort of thing.
Yes, I write poetry. I think I've been writing poems for a long time. I think it all started from the fact that I wasn't very good at talking and expressing my emotions. So I resorted to writing things in poems. Yeah. And really that's enabled me to be more confident. So
I was going to say, how do you find it? Makes you more confident?
It makes me more confident, and I think you take more risks.
Is it? In what context?
Saying things that you want to say, but you say it in a way that it's almost like poetry allows you to say things in a way that you wouldn't normally be able to say. Without some kind of form of retribution.
So it's a bit like, is it a bit like writing songs? Because I write songs. It's a bit like writing songs.
It is a bit like that, you see.
Yeah. And you're also in a band. You say you're a singer.
Yes, I'm in a band. I'm in Big Ship Alliance, they're a tribute band for Freddie McGregor.
Okay, marvelous. So how do you start? You're a singer as well. How do you start singing?
Well, I started singing. I've been like from school days. Been in choirs, and I've been in choirs with Birmingham City Council. It was a competition with Gareth Malone. Okay. And that was fun. Learned a lot about behind the scene work and stuff. Okay. And also I was in Town Hall Gospel Choir as well.
A gospel choir.
And that was fun. Oh, that was absolutely brilliant. So
I gather you would have sing in church as well.
Yeah, sing in church
so
as well.
We call you the proper singers, don't we? when you come from the church background singing, you are what you call the proper singers.
Proper singer. I hope so.
What sort of songs do you like, say?
Oh boy, I've got quite a eclectic taste, really. I love jazz. I love reggae. Some pop songs. I think I'm quite diverse, really.
It's good that is, because I know a lot of people. Some people start to really limit themselves. Oh, I can only just do reggae. You know, I mean, I can only just. Don't get me wrong. I love my reggae. I was born in reggae music. You know, I have to say that. So that is great. You know, that's actually fantastic. Yeah. Anyway, as you know, in this program, I always sort of look at what's going on around the world and what is happening around the world. So I'll do that before I actually go to my rant. Now, this is actually just breaking. It's breaking and breaking and breaking. And we don't know how big this is going to go for a while, because Nancy Pelosi has actually angered Beijing because she actually went to Taiwan. The Chinese government are not very happy with it. And we don't know what's going to happen. They've actually started military exercise. And I think actually today some jets was actually taking off in military exercise, and it's kind of sort of shaking up the whole place, you know. And we see the troubles with Russia and Ukraine, and we hope this is not going to be able to another trouble again. We hope America and China and Taiwan can just sort of calm it down. And no American representatives have been to Taiwan for so many years. And then, as I say, Nancy decided to go there, and I say Beijing is not happy with it. So we'll have to wait and see and watch that one and actually see what's happened. Yeah. And we hope nothing too serious happens. And say we hope the American government between Taiwan and China and, all those involved can sort it out, because we don't want to see any more troubles in the world at the moment. We just listen. We just come out of COVID, and then we have all this. We have Russia in Ukraine and all that sort of stuff. You see what I'm saying, don't you?
I do.
And then we gotta have something like this again. How do you expect us to cope with all this kind of thing? You know what I mean? How do you expect us to cope? What do you think?
I just think that, like you says, we've just come out of COVID, and as soon as we come out, wham. Yeah. There's this issue with Ukraine and Russia, and now this as well. So I think people are tired.
Yeah.
They're tired, emotionally drained, more trauma. It's traumatic, really.
It is traumatic. It is traumatic, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is one of the
Do
ones.
you think we'd have learned something from COVID, because that was something that threatened the whole world?
Yeah, and everybody said, we was getting together. We was coming together, you know what I mean?
And it hasn't worked
and
out.
The trouble about a lot of people, when the COVID was on, a lot of people was together.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I was working together,
Yeah.
you know? They never learn, do they?
Never learn, I'm afraid.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Let me tell you now. Now, moving on. Now, Jaylen Walker, that has traumatized African Americans in Ohio. Jaylen was actually shot 46 times. He was unarmed by police. And this happened last month. So the community leaders in Ohio is actually helping the community come to terms with that, because they say a lot of African Americans in that particular place is very, very traumatized over actually what has happened. You know what I mean? And we see this once again. We've talked about this story before. We talked about when it broke, and we talked about it last week. And every week there seems to be something coming out about this story all the time. You know what I mean? And we don't know how there's going to be any justice to come out of this, which we always seem to see within the United States. We hope some justice will be able to come out of this, and for the family as well. You know what I mean? But it's one of them ones again. It's one of them ones. One of them ones, isn't it?
It is. I think it's too many times now.
Yeah.
It's too many times. I think with what happened with George Floyd.
Yeah.
I mean, when we saw hatred. We looked at hatred in the eyes.
Yeah.
The whole world saw hatred.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet we haven't learned from that. Here we are again, like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
With this young man now being killed. 40. You don't even kill an animal.
Put that much bullet in a human being.
So what does that say to you, really?
Yeah. It isn't changing.
No,
It isn't changing.
no.
It's a very, very cruel process. Very, very cruel process. You know what I mean? And as I said, we always say big condolences to the family. You know what I mean? And all those people who are actually traumatized in that sort of situation. Now, the next story is also cheesed me up big time, because go to Italy now. Police in Italy has actually charged a man for murdering a Nigerian. And this Nigerian was actually beaten in the street. He was actually strangled by an Italian man. Now, what makes this so disturbing is the fact that while he was doing this, nobody did nothing to help. Everybody was there, yes, with their cameras or with their little phone and photographing it. And nobody did anything at all to help this man. While this man was being beaten by an Italian man, and while he literally strangled him. That day, he strangled him. And nobody did nothing. Everybody was there with a telephone and taking little snaps. Makes you sick, doesn't it?
It does make you sick. It really does. I think you can't understand the mentality of mankind to see someone else suffering that way. But people always tend to think, because it's a black person, he must have done something.
Yeah.
But you still wouldn't do that. Yeah. You still wouldn't kill somebody like that in broad. You wouldn't do that.
You hit a very good point here. But you know what? I got to say this, because I need to balance this. I got to say this, because there was actually some youths of color that was actually sitting on a wall while this was happening. And you think those guys, they haven't learned anything, have they?
Well, they haven't, but then maybe there's a fear there as well.
That is true. They could get arrested, or they could get beaten, or something like that.
And
You're totally right.
Yeah, and if you know that people are against you anyway, you're not really going to intercede, because then you could end up being in that same predicament. So you have all those things that are in the mix.
It is actually sort of, it's actually one of those really disgusting ones. And I really sad to see when things like that has happened. You know what I mean? And you don't know where to go with it, or you don't want to. There's no answers there.
There's no answers.
We can only tell you what's happening here, but there's no answer.
No, I know. Because when you think about it, when with if you go back to George Floyd,
Yeah.
How many people, the other policemen, they were all different nationalities
That's
too.
right. That's right.
And they did nothing.
And they did nothing.
So what was that about? So there's all those questions that really do need to be answered.
Yeah, yeah.
What is it that make people see something and do nothing?
And do nothing. And
Yeah.
do nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think many years ago, my grandfather or probably even your parents, when they were actually growing up and they see something like that, they wouldn't just stand there and do nothing.
No.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
The generation before me or the generation before that, they wouldn't, if they see something happening in the streets, but they had grown at a different time. You know what I mean? They had learned a lot of respect, and they had a lot of respect for the young people, and they had learned a lot of respect for the older people. So they would actually get involved and do something. You know what I mean? Nowadays, it's like the phone is the most important thing, is it? Yeah. But I take your point where they say there may be fear of something in some context. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Once again, Hector, big yourself up. Belated happy birthday to you, sir. I think your birthday, I think it was the 29th of July. Well, July is gone now. We're in August, which is actually marvelous. The trouble about August is here, and I'm going to ask you, the trouble about August is like, it's going down now, isn't it? It's that period where we are heading towards autumn. When we go to like say the bank holiday, then you think, and you see all, because one of the things I actually do love about August is like when it gets to the start of the month, I'm in the UK, when it actually goes to the end of the month, or you go to festival, you go to church, or where you have this celebration, it's like the end of the month, and you see all your friends, and you think, oh, we're headed into autumn now. You know, well, autumn is like winter, isn't it? And you think, oh, all that good weather is gone. You know what I mean? That's it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now I go to Jamaica. Now the family and friends and hundreds of people actually turned out to the funeral of Kamisha Wright. Kamisha Wright was actually murdered by a man called Bennett. And he's actually plead guilty that he killed this lady. And I gotta say, Miss Wright and her 4 children, when they put it together, she was actually, all 4 of these people was actually stabbed 95 times. Now, what kind of person does this? A child was involved, a very, very young child. Now, there's all kind of things going about, there's all kind of stories coming up. Oh, you should do this or you should do that. You should have this legal right or you should have this legal. Why do you do that to a child? Why would you do that to a child? And people say you should, all kind of excuse. Not even a child, a baby. All kind of excuse being used. Oh, you shouldn't do this or this was wrong with him or this was wrong with this man. He's mentally this. This is a baby. How could you stab up a baby? Yeah. It's one of them ones that don't sit really pretty with me. Don't really sit pretty with me. And as well as the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, was actually at the Thanksgiving service in St. Catherine. Not my apologies, in Clarendon. In Clarendon. And he actually made the comment that he's gonna get really tough and really strict on violence in Jamaica. And I gotta say, for once this time, the opposition leader has actually decided that he's going to actually support the government, which is good to see. They're finally sort of coming together in violence, because you need two organizations or the two-party system with Jamaica to actually come together and stamp out on this sort of violence. Talk to me, please.
It's just interesting, though, isn't it? Because, boy, what creates violence, though? What is it? What is it? Some people say it's a mental illness. Sometimes it's not that. What is it? What stirs up people to kill? Like
I wonder all these people. I talked to a gentleman some time ago, and he says some people are just born with an evil streak. They're just born like that. No,
I don't think.
I don't know. And they're just born out. They're born as a baby, and they get to a stage after they come out as a baby, and they get to a stage later on in life. They just become bloody evil.
I just think sometimes people are quite angry as well. Sometimes people, I mean, to stab up somebody 90 odd times.
The whole family.
That's a frenzy.
The whole family.
That's a frenzy. So that sounds like anger to me.
And then the excuse that actually comes out. The excuse that actually comes out is an excuse you have come out where he's the lady Miss Wright was disrespectful to him in front of her customers. You say the silly excuse that does that give him the right to stab up a whole family like that.
It doesn't though, does it?
Yeah.
But I think it's sometimes like the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah.
You know, she could have been the person to have just done that one thing, but it's a whole history of other things that's happened to this man that's made him so angry, and she was the one to break the camel's back, and she got it all in her family. Sometimes it's things like that, isn't it?
Yes.
So we can never really understand it because it doesn't make sense. But if you were to unpick and unravel and take the layers off, you'd probably learn a whole lot more.
But at the same time, there's no justification for that sort of thing.
Oh no, you can't justify it. Still.
No, you can't justify it.
You can't.
You know what I mean? We can't have the excuse of saying this was that and he was this and he was up there. It's totally
no. What he's done is a crime. He's murdered, isn't he?
It's ridiculous.
So, yeah.
It is ridiculous. Now let me come to England. Staying with England, coming to England now. A 16-year-old was shot in a drive-by shooting in Manchester. She's still alive, but she's not too seriously injured. And I say this happened when gunmen actually drove past her house. They was actually having a house party, and gunmen opened fire at the 16-year-old in the house. And I say she's lucky to be alive, and she's not seriously injured. She has been taken to hospital. So we like that one, and we say, you know, hope she recovers very, very, very soon. You would agree with me there?
100%, yeah.
Marvelous, marvelous. Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, I've got an unbelievable story for you here now, and this is actually happening in China. Now, a car has actually fell on top of a cliff. The driver lost control, and the car fell on top of a cliff. Yes. The trouble is, no one was hurt, which is actually marvelous. And if you see some of the picture of that, of what happened with that car, you know what I mean? So somebody was working very, very spiritually there, and they say it fall off a cliff, and went into a sort of, you know, what we call it a gully. What we call it, but it's not funny, but it's how good this is. What you call a gully, and they say all the people in the car was actually survived. So we say big shout out to those, and that is actually marvelous. So we say the master was doing what he does very, very well. You would agree with me?
Yeah, not their time.
I notice you're nodding your head. My other miracle story is that two twins who was actually joined together at the head has been separated. This is in Rio de Janeiro, and they were separated with the help of a doctor from the UK, a surgeon from the UK, you know what I mean, from one of the great Allman Street surgeon, you know what I mean. And I say, these twins have been joined together from birth, and it's good to see that they are being separated. So it's one of those miracles that you like and say it's absolutely marvelous, yeah. Yeah,
because you know that the intricate details of taking them, you know, separating them would not be easy.
No, I think it was actually I think it was actually a 27-hour operation.
Can you imagine?
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it is good to see that happens. You know what I mean? So
and I was just about to say it's a good thing that the surgeons had plenty of rest.
Yes,
because you know, with NHS in here, you know, people are working crazy times that I don't think they could do something for such a long period of time.
Yeah. It's one of them ones. Now we move on to sports. Now, I know the big one everybody's been raving about. Now, England, ladies, yes, has beat Germany in the Euro 2022. They beat Germany 2-1. Wembley was packed. 89,000 people was in Wembley, plus thousands and thousands of people actually was watching that match. And a lot of people say the pain and the hurt is over. Yes. Why are you laughing? The pain and the hurt is over. And it's been it's been 56 years of pain. And I'm not laughing, it's just one of those ones. When people say it's been 56 years of pain, and the last time England win a major trophy, it was at the 1966 World Cup. And that also went into extra time, yeah? So we say big congratulations to those wonderful ladies. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. And we say big shout out to them. Let's give them a little clap. Yes. Marvelous. Now, the Commonwealth Games actually comes to Birmingham, and it opens up in Birmingham. You know what I mean? And the Jamaican team is here. Yeah, they opened up in Birmingham. There was actually a big bull. Everybody was loving the bull. Did you see the bull?
Saw it on TV.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, a couple of me and my colleagues, I should say colleagues and I, we actually went to the rehearsals. We actually went to the rehearsal and see it, you know what I mean? And it was actually marvelous. And when it comes into the studio, we gotta go, wow! You know what I mean? I don't think it actually represents the industrial revolutions, you know what I mean? But it's actually, I've been told it's gonna be put into a place for like people to see or you know, the bull. I don't know if that's gonna happen because there've been different stories about it's gonna be like where it's gonna go. And have you seen it?
There's been different stories because I remember they were talking to the man who built it or was you know, and he was saying that it couldn't be kept outside because it had certain foam inside it, so it couldn't be inside. And he was thinking it could be melted down. And I think, wow, you've done all that hard work and you melt it down. So, you know, the jury's still out on that one.
Well, so it's a lovely piece of art. It is a lovely piece of art. You know what I mean? I didn't say Birmingham was the place of the Industrial Revolution in those early days, and we know how that started, but we know that story, don't we?
Yes,
so,
we do.
but we don't want to elaborate on that story. What do you think of the bull? She's laughing at me. She cracks up.
The bull was interesting.
Yeah.
Different people have said different things. I've spoken to lots of people about it, and some people come from a religious context and said it reminded them of the Israelites when they were worshipping the bull. You know, when the calf, the golden calf.
When Moses went away, and come back and to see the Israelites dancing around this golden calf. I saw that in that film with Charlton Heston. What was that film with Charlton Heston?
Yeah.
That's the one, isn't it?
That was an interesting take on it.
I know we're having too much fun here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. As I say, now, still keeping the sports, as I say, the Jamaican team has been, you know, in Birmingham for the athletics. We say mainly athletics because, you know, and the athletics actually started yesterday, you know, in the Commonwealth Games, and they've actually bring a team of 49 squad, which is actually marvelous. And as I say, there's a lot of sports that the Jamaicans actually team don't actually take part in, and other teams as well. You know, I mean, they don't take part in. But as I say, the athletics is one of the most popular theme of the games. So they're underway. I must tell you before I actually move on, because I got to look at the medals tables. You know what I mean? And the medals table is like, let me give a quick look, because we're looking at the Olympics. Come on, I keep saying Olympics. I don't know why I keep saying Olympics. I say that so many times, it's ridiculous. The Olympics is in my head. Anyway, the Commonwealth Games, I should say. We'll look at the medals table, and up until say earlier today, I know this may have changed since we've been online or we've been in the year. The Commonwealth Games, Australia has 106 medals, total. You know what I mean? That includes gold, silver, and bronze. England has 86, yes, same. New Zealand has 28, yes. Canada has 46. Big shout out to all you guys up there in Canada. South Africa actually has 16. India has 14. Jamaica has 1. But their time is here. You know, they're on the move. They've just actually started. And Uganda has 2. And Trinidad and Tobago has 3. Not necessarily in order, but that's the medals table so far. But I'd say that was at just before we came on the air, you know what I mean? So I'm sure by the time we finish, because a lot of those races will be going on now while we're on the air, isn't it? Yeah. And so that's it. Do you like the Commonwealth Games?
I do. I like watching some of it, but I'm not, I must admit, I'm not totally absorbed in it. Yeah.
I do like my sports. I mean, a lot of people say different things about the Commonwealth Games. If you're a sports person, you know what I mean? If you're a sports person, it's you know, but the one that comes to my mind is the legacy. Yeah, so but that is also another deep one. Yeah. I'll probably go into that deeply when I'm not broadcast, when another program, when it's all over. You know what I mean? It's the legacy that sometimes goes into my head, you know? Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, Jamaican Festival Song winner. You know, every year they have a festival song, you know, which is absolutely marvelous. And it's a lady who's actually won this year. And we say a big shout out to her. Her name is Shakai. And I got to give her a big round of applause to Shakai.
Yay.
Now, I got to say, it's the, the Jamaican festival thing. That we say I always have a song. Now, I got to tell you, she's only the 5th woman that's actually won in the 56 years that it has actually been going. I know you go,
that's terrible.
No. Now, let me see if we can. In 1966, because I think there was a couple of years when they didn't have one. In 1966, the Maytals won the first one. Now, can you think what that song was?
No. Are you going to sing it for us?
No, I'm not going to sing it. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what this is. This is what I do.
Go on, then.
The song was actually called Bam 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 Bam.
Bam Bam.
Yeah?
Okay.
That was the name of the very, very first song that actually won it by the Maytals. The other one that actually won in 1967, the Jamaicans, which ba boom boom. Boom boom festival, boom 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 ba boom. You've heard that one?
Yeah, I've heard that one.
And the other one actually in 1968, you have Desmond Dekker and the Aces win with Music Like That.
Okay.
Music like that. Now you're probably coming to the era where it was the cheerio, baby.
Yeah.
I know that, which was Eric Dallas. I know you was gonna come into that year on there. So that was years later. So, as I said, we're having too much fun this afternoon. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Let me move on now. As I say, also Jamaica is also celebrating, as we know, its 60th year of independence. And I know there's been dances that's coming everywhere. There's parties everywhere. And Jamaica at home and abroad and everywhere in the world will be having a lovely time.
Yes.
Won't we?
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
You're from Jamaica?
Yeah, my parents are from Jamaica.
parents are
And my
from
husband is as well.
Your husband, what part of Jamaica?
He's from St. Elizabeth.
Okay.
And my parents are from St. Anne's.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. So as I said, Jamaica at home and abroad will be having a big celebration. And some people talk about the independence and this and that. We're not independent. But you know what? You have to have your independence. One country can't rule you all the time. So all those who are saying, we don't have any independence, you don't know what it's like fighting. Our people have died actually fighting for that be the thing that you turn your nose up at and says it's not independence. Even though some of us are still under that sort of no independence. So there's a lot of stuff we can say about it, and we can criticize this a lot. But a lot of people has died just fighting for where it has actually reached. And it's up to a lot of us to sort of look after it and make it better.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, right. Yeah. Now, I've reached my rant. Now, his name is Alkali. Alkali. Now, Alkali, a Nigerian, beaten to death by Italians, while onlookers did nothing. He didn't do nothing. I think he actually said to the man who actually killed him, murdered him, I think he pays the man's wife a compliment. I say to one of this the message that I've actually seen. He paid the man's wife or his girlfriend a compliment and said, "You're looking nice." And he only did that because he's a vendor, so he was trying to sell something. Yeah. So he said, hello, how are you? You're looking nice. Yeah. And you probably want to buy your flowers or whatever. Yeah. Now, this man was murdered in the street. He was strangled by this Italian man. Now, while he was being strangled, a lot of people was around. And we talk about this earlier on. And nobody did nothing. Nobody did nothing. And that is the sad situation of the world today. Nobody helped him. And all is, and my point is, he needed help. And people should have helped him. He didn't do anything wrong. All he was there trying to supply trade. He didn't offend the person in any way. He didn't offend the man in any way. All he said, "You're looking nice. You want to buy something or whatever." And he strangled him. Now, when I see things like that, I think I'm not going to play the race card here, because when I'm talking about it, people say the first thing a lot of so-called racists jump on and says, "Oh, you're playing the race card." I'm not going to play the race card here. But I wonder if he was a different race, he would have been strangled. Yeah,
well, that's a true question, isn't it? It reminds me of that young chap, was it Timmins in America?
Yeah.
He was only about 16 years old or something like that. Yeah. And he must have made a comment to a white lady as well. That's right. And he went missing. Yeah. And when they found him, I remember that it was unrecognizable. So bad that his mom left the coffin open, and the state was fighting to keep the coffin closed because they didn't want anybody to see the state of this young boy brutalized. All he did was give a compliment or something very minor, and you're just thinking, is that a mirror? It's what's changed.
Yeah,
we're back to Groundhog Day again,
That's right. You know what I mean?
You know.
And I said the thing about it is like nobody helped this man, which is just a sad thing. And I talk about you earlier on where in my grandparents' day, if something like that was you, leave him alone, get off him.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or throw a rock stone, fling a stone after him. But it's terrible.
Yeah. It is so sad. And this is I mean. Some people will say, "Oh, no, I'm not belittling anywhere. I'm not belittling anywhere." You know what I mean? Some people will say, "Oh, this is a so-called." Well, let me say, this is a so-called what we say, a so-called civilized country. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Though.
Yeah.
Because civilization shouldn't behave like that, should it?
Thank you.
Really,
You see my point.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
We've been brought up on Christian values.
Yes.
So where are those values gone now? Where are they now?
Italy.
I know.
You know what I mean? Italy.
And Italy where the Pope is and all
Thank
that.
you.
You know what I mean? It's just terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And I said nobody did nothing at all to help this man.
Yeah.
And it is a very, very sad thing when you actually see things like that, you know what I mean? And you don't know. You can't get your head around it. You can't comprehend it. You know what I mean? And this is when you, as I say, when you see things like that, you know what I mean? It's just and it's been in the paper. It's been a little bit in the paper, but it ain't covered the news. Yeah. You know what I mean? It ain't make big news. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's there. You know what I mean? But it ain't make big news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's sad as well that we're in a generation now where the mobile phone and taking pictures is everything. It's like sensationalization.
Yeah.
That's what people want now. Yeah. Give us a bit of dirt, bit of gory stuff, and it's wow. Look at this. Yeah. It's people celebrate that, and I think that's sad.
It is. It is a sad thing. It's sad thing. And this is not the first time we've actually seen this. We've seen this before. You know what I mean? And we see this in a situation where they actually sort of go, "Oh, let me show this to my friend. It's good, isn't it? Let me show this to my friend. You know what I mean? It's good."
Yeah. But wasn't that like those, slightly changing the subject? Wasn't that like those police who were showing pictures of those girls who were murdered and they were laughing at it and things like that?
Yeah,
so these are the things that we're seeing, not just police, we're seeing that with the public, we're seeing it with so many different people behaving in this way, and it's not right at all.
I don't know.
Not right at all.
It's one of them ones. Anyway, we say big respect to the man's family and also his friends. So sad that actually happens. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Mayday, big shout out to you, sir. I know you always tune into the program. In fact, you subscribe to the program. Mayday is actually, let me give you a plug, Mayday. Mayday is actually an artist from Birmingham. We say big shout out to you, sir. Also, my very, very good friend, Errol, how you doing? Big shout out to you, sir. Also, Claudette, how you doing? Big shout out to you. All you guys down in Jamaica. You know how to say that. The United States, let me say big shout out to you. Canada, big shout out to you. Birmingham, how you doing? England, how you doing? Let me say a big shout out to you. Thanks for tuning into the program. Don't forget to share the program as well, yeah? Now, my next story is like, we go back to football, aren't we? We're going to go back to football. Now, and the ladies, Euro ladies has actually won the 2022 European champions. Yeah. Now, and there's been a lot of stuff and there's been a lot of good things. Ian Wright has been saying a lot of things. The Premier League should, put some money in the ladies' football. Fantastics. Nothing wrong with that. Everything great about that. Now, according to the Daily Express, Charlene White has been hit by trolls. And Charlene White actually does the news on ITN. And what she actually said, her comments were, she made it about diversity. She says, the game, words to this effect. She needs to see more diversity in the women's team. I've heard this before. This is not the first time I've heard this. We've heard this quite a bit over the years. Yeah, so I've heard this before. So there's nothing wrong with saying that. No, she has been hit by a lot of trolls. A lot of people has cussed her out. A lot of people says, oh, she shouldn't be working for ITN. You know, and sometimes I think, okay, I'm not playing the race card here again. Let me just say that. I think it's just happening with a lot of racist people. Now, we don't want to go back. I don't see a lot of people of my color or your color in the England team. In fact, I counted 3 in that team. Right. Now, what we don't want to do, because football, where it is now, is like for everyone. You know what I mean? It's for everyone. We all support England. Yes, marvelous, fantastic. You agree with me?
I agree, yeah.
Thank you. Right, I'm glad you agree with me. We all support England. Great to the ladies. No, we don't want to go back to a time like back in when I read about the 70s or coming into the 80s, where you have people of color couldn't get into the England team, or they couldn't play up front because they have to be playing down the back because you wasn't skilled enough to play up the front, which is bull, because we see so many people. Look at Sterling, look at the great strikers we've got now, which was bull. So we don't want to go back to that time. So we need all races to get into the England team and embrace the thing, because we are all one, the same country. Yes. So we don't want to go back to that crazy time, you know what I mean? Or we don't want to go, we know racism is still sitting out there. We don't want to go back to those crazy time. And the whole sport thing is changing. And a lot of football people in this country, people who's involved in football, are striving all the time to stifle racism in the game. So we don't want to see that again. So as much as we support the Lioness, and we did fantastic job, we actually need to see more people of color in the team. And the other thing I must say as well, because I know a lot of you will jump on this now. Oh, I'm not saying we should put people of color in the team who is not capable of doing it. And I'm not saying you should put people in the England team just because of their color. But we know there's people out there who's actually got the skills or what you call the qualifications to get in the team. Now, we need those people to get in the team. It's a bit like saying, no, oh, there's no African American, who could be president of the United States, because a lot of people had that in their mind a long time, because they're not qualified enough to be the prime minister, the president of the United States. What happened to President Obama? Talk to me, my sister.
Yeah, the thing is, we all have something to contribute.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And it brings that vibrancy, that colour. Bring it, involve everybody.
Yes.
Involve everybody.
Totally.
Because really what it should be about is making your country great.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
If it involves getting everybody to that table, then why would you not do that? Why would you not? It just doesn't make sense.
But you're always going to get these negative people or these people. Yeah. The Romans. The Romans did a lot of crazy things. One thing I got to say I do like about the Romans. A lot of people may say, when the Romans take you and do what they want to do, they say you was a Roman.
Yeah, interesting.
No, that may sound, but that's what they say. They say you was a Roman. They go and they conquer the whole of the world, and they say you're a Roman. Does that make any sense?
That resonates for me.
Yeah.
Because that's belonging now, isn't it?
Thank you.
You've earned your stripes.
Thank you.
But like when you look at it now, for myself,
yeah,
I don't think I'll ever earn my stripes.
Thank you.
I'll never belong.
Yeah.
That's painful even to say that now.
And we also see how far it is. I can't see a person of color or a British African Caribbean person, as long as we've been living in this UK, becoming a prime minister of the UK. Not in my lifetime, and I'm not at all.
No, I don't think we will.
Can you see it?
I can't.
You can see it.
I can't.
Yeah.
Really
And it's not
can't.
because the skill is there. It's not because the talent is there. It's not because they're not educated in their stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, anyway, it's your turn. What is on your mind? Tell me what is on your mind, Maureen.
All right, what's on my mind? You mean in terms of what we've just spoken about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm hurting all over because seeing all these things what we've talked about today, what's happening to black people across the world, and people just turn a blind eye. That's quite painful, because I think we've been here a long time now. We try to integrate all those things, we're showing our worth, showing our values, and yet it's frowned upon. or disregarded. People are seen as nothing, and that's quite painful, really.
It is quite painful.
And all right, I'm an old bird.
I wouldn't say that.
But you know, there's a younger generation coming up,
Yeah.
and they're seeing this. How do they deal with those things? And it's not really good. I mean, I want England to be a decent place where people can, you know, feel that they do belong.
That's right. I mean, we see people, we see young schoolgirls of color all supporting the Liners. I don't want to when they're like in the early teens, you know what I mean, or the late teens. They think, oh, I can't see anybody of color. That looks like me in that team.
Exactly, because it doesn't inspire.
Yeah.
You to do well.
That's
you know,
right.
like you go in your schools and there's no one who looks like you. You know, no teachers. It doesn't inspire those young people of color to dream big. You look on the TV screen, you don't see no one who represents you. You don't inspire people to dream big.
That's
because
right.
you think we haven't got it.
Yeah.
We can't do it. We believe the lies that are propagated. You know, black people can't swim. The bones are too heavy.
Have you seen the Canadian? He's a Canadian. That's actually but he's a Canadian person of color, and he actually went in the swimming a couple of days ago. You know, I mean, I used to hear that as well. 'Cause you know what?
I remember that.
I used to swim a lot, you know. And I used to hear that so many times. One of my dreams was actually to swim the channel.
Was it?
That's how good. That was good I was. But I was actually I wasn't discouraged. But I used to hear it all the time. Oh, black people can't swim in the water. You know, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah,
Black people can't swim in the water. Oh, it's because of your skin. You know what I mean? Or you got too much hair on your skin. You've heard that one, yeah. Oh, dear me. Don't forget to say, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Let me move on, because you got a special story you want to tell us about, Maureen.
Yes.
What is your special story?
Well, it's about a poem that I've written. Well,
Okay.
it's my book. It's called 8 minutes and 46 seconds. So I was going to read you one of the poems, if that's all right.
That's marvelous.
Okay. It's called A Narrow Perspective. Pitch black menaces, a terrorizing monstrosity, ominous in nature with insatiable appetites for ferocity. Its clouds of darkness looms over its every horny head, preying on the vulnerable and filling them with dread. Called out to bring one big bad beast to heel, dangerous as a rabid dog and slippery as an eel. A large as life Goliath, 6'4" and no mirage, but I am more than prepared with my keen entourage to subdue and conquer it with a duty to purge our pure neighborhoods of this insipid scourge. We watched the creature saunter into our target sight. Its nose flared, muscles ripped. We anticipated a fight. Surprise is our strategy as we spring into attack. Such poetry in motion deserves a hero's plaque. Dumb brute, didn't see it coming, now laid flat and hog-tied. Dawned we didn't give a damn whether it lived or died. We paid no attention to its groan, moan and squeal. As these types are dangerous, one can't be fooled to feel. It was its turn to sense the fear it unleashed on its many and give a clear message to all its kin, the enemy. The great mass goes limp, and I feel its last breath drain. A hung memory of a white knight's slain.
Marvelous, absolutely marvelous. What inspired you to write that?
The death of George Floyd. And it was looking at the perspective of how Chauvin, that's the police officer, felt, how he saw George Floyd. He didn't see him as a human being. He saw him as a beast. And it was like he conquered that beast, you know. He didn't have, you know, when they used to have in the African, when they went to Africa, tourists went to Africa, and they always wore those funny little hats and the shorts, and they had their rifle with them, the hunters. He was like a hunter, and he killed this man, and was on him like a you know, like a slain animal, and that's what that was about, really.
Marvelous.
I just wanted people to picture it that way, how he's
Marvelous. You tell me about a story about I think that was in Birmingham City Centre. A King Kong, you said it was called.
Oh,
tell us about this King Kong thing.
Well,
this King Kong thing.
Well, I remember King Kong used to be the original King Kong. 50 years ago, they say, was in the Bullring Centre.
Okay.
And King Kong is a silver-backed gorilla.
Okay.
Right? And just like the picture there, silver-backed gorilla. And you can see his arms look like a gorilla arms. His face, you know, the skull is elongated. You can tell that is a gorilla.
Okay.
Right? Now, they've done a new one, bigger than the original, and said it's that same gorilla, but it doesn't look like a gorilla.
So what does it look like?
It looks like a man.
I was going to say, what is your issue with this?
It looks like, my issue with that, it looks like a black man.
Serious?
It does. It looks like a man. And his arms don't even look like an ape. It looks like a muscly man. And for me, that doesn't rest well with me.
Was that?
I had a meeting with my team as well, and we discussed it, because we like to talk in our team as well and discuss issues. And somebody said in the group, oh, look at King Kong. What happened to King Kong in the story? It was a sad story, because he was taken from his home, right? Placed in an alien environment, right? Where he was enslaved, and then he was killed, right? For the love of a woman, he was killed. And I thought, that's interesting. And then somebody said, and yes, he was taken away from his native country. And then the person said, and that resonates with me. So, you know, for me, it's not a positive image for Birmingham, because I was told it was to commemorate the, I'm like you now, I want to say the Olympics. it was said the Commonwealth Games. Yes. But then you don't see him in a tracksuit. You don't see him with a racket in his hand or on his marks ready to go. So how does that commemorate? It doesn't.
It's a very good point.
It doesn't.
I see what you're saying.
Compute really, and I think that hasn't come at the right time.
Yeah.
When you want to talk about integration and diversity and linking, it doesn't come at the right time. People say, "Oh, it's about Birmingham being great. Look at the muscle." It doesn't represent that. That's ludicrous to me.
I see that point. And they've actually put it in the jury quarter.
In the jury quarter, I've heard it's there.
Birmingham, doesn't it?
Yeah, I won't be going to see it. Or if I do go and see it, I won't be taking a picture beside it. You know.
I think you got a very, very good point, and you makes you wonder, why have they brought it back? It means, as you say, it was around years ago, wasn't it?
50 years ago.
Serious?
Apparently, yeah, and they just wanted to bring it back because they said, oh, people have been missing it, but I've never heard anybody
why
missing
they put it somewhere else, up in some parking, up into the hills?
Yeah, you see, I just don't think it's. I don't know. It doesn't ring well for me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come at a good time. I don't think, with all this upheaval that's going on and, you know, racial imbalance and stuff like that. It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
It isn't. Yeah. I don't like it really. Yeah, if it really looked like King Kong.
Yeah.
From the old days, maybe that would be different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it doesn't, and they shouldn't say it's for the
Commonwealth Games.
Commonwealth Games either. They shouldn't say that.
Yeah,
they say they're bringing back something from 50 years, but make it look like that. That is how I remember.
It looks like
King Kong looking like in the films.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And I don't remember him having red eyes either.
I see what you're saying.
You know.
You got another poem about that? You got another poem?
Yes, well, the poem I read was about that, because it sounded, when I read the poem, it sounded like about a big monstrosity, and people could have probably thought, oh, was that King Kong? If they didn't know what it was about.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It's about George Floyd.
George Floyd, yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, George Floyd was one of those terrible situations that actually happens. You know what I mean? And we talk about this many times. Even we did quite a couple of shows, and we mentioned George Floyd about that. You know what I mean? And I say, it was one of those. It was one of those things that happened. And it's one of them things that will never go away.
It won't go away because it was quite traumatic.
And in years to come, the question will be asked, and we start asking that question now. Where were you when what happened to George Floyd? Where was you? Can you remember where you was? You know what I mean? Where you was?
I think I was probably at home, you know, when I saw it on the TV, and I was in bits. Serious? You know, and even when I think of it now, I can feel the emotions there. Yeah. You know, because nobody treats somebody like that. Yeah. You know, and when you think of what Chauvin did. He was in front of a whole group of people, all telling him to stop. What are you doing? Stop. He's dying. He's dying. And it didn't resonate. Right. And what he did, he put his hand in his pocket and he leaned on his neck even more.
I know.
Right. And you know, George Floyd, even you could see the urine. He weed himself. You understand what I'm saying? This, you know, and you got 3 other officers there. And none of them did nothing.
And none of them push him off and move on. I said,
none
come off him.
None of them did it. You've had enough now. Get off now. None of them did that. What was that about? Did they have of this black man as Chauvin did?
Most likely. Most likely. I think they've actually been
they've been charged.
They've been charged as well, haven't they?
Because they should. Because what is it?
Of course they should.
You're guilty by association, aren't you?
Yeah, of course you are.
Really, you know. But you know what killed me as well? I tell you what really killed me was when, you know, people were talking in the chats, you know, like people I was talking to on the Facebook or whatever, and some people said some things like, well, he must have done something.
Yeah, it's always that one, isn't it? It's always that one, isn't it?
That killed me because...
It's always that one, isn't it?
Because no matter what this man did, it did not deserve him to have somebody kneeling his neck, hear him crying for his mom, and still... Not get up off him.
Well, it's like the first story the second story I actually talk about with the man where he's been shot up 46 times. It is alleged that he had a gun, but they didn't find any gun on him, right? You know what I mean? And they're still pumping up shot 46 times.
Yeah,
he was unarmed.
I believe that.
You know what I mean? And they're still pumping up shot 46 times. You know what I mean?
See, but they should be held accountable.
They should be held accountable.
Do you remember that Brazilian guy in England?
Yeah.
When there was all the bombings going on.
Oh, is that one where? Is that one on the train where he walks?
Running for the train.
When he was walking, he had a long leather coat. And they were saying that time. I remember the story.
And he had a duffel bag on his back.
He had a long leather coat, and they said he was he shouldn't have been dressed like that at that particular time because it was hot. It was summer, isn't it? So I remember that very well.
And he was running to catch his train. I think they said that they shouted at him, but he was just running, and they shot him up. How many times in that train as well?
Yeah. You know what? I went into a big thing, you know, with somebody. When that happened, I went into a big thing with somebody I actually work with. And the first thing it's back to the same thing. The first thing the person said to me is that, oh, he must have been doing something. He must have was gonna do something. I said, how do you know that?
Yeah.
You must have been doing something. There was a Brazilian. He was wearing a long leather coat in the middle of the summer. And I said to him, how do you know he was gonna? I mean, he was gonna get into a big stink about that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. And it's always the same thing. How he must have been doing something. How he must have been doing something. Why you just like? And it's just that sort of, you know what I mean?
It's a bias, isn't it? People have a bias against people of our colour or people who are foreigners. You can't have that bias. You got to judge people on their merit. Don't judge them because of something in your head. You got to work it out.
That's right.
Get the facts.
That's right.
Get the facts.
That's right. You have to do that. You have to do it. And we see in America where they've done like crazy things, like even what I call Caucasian youth or Caucasian people does crazy things. And the police go on them and they disarm them and they take them out and they don't have one shot in them, do they?
That's right.
But when you have an African American, it becomes a different ball game. It's not a ball game, but that's my
it's true.
My impressions.
You do see that there's a difference in how they're treated.
Yeah.
Even in sentences.
Yes.
Because I remember watching a program about men who were battering their partners. And they showed a black man who was married in a relationship with a white girl, and 2 white guys who were in a relationship with their white girls. Mm-hmm. And the black guy got the biggest sentence, and he did a lesser, you know, his battering wasn't as bad as the other guys. But yet you think, well, how do you work that out? And nobody sees that. It's like the elephant in the room, and I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
You can't get your head around some of these things. There's no answer. There's no answer. Let's have another one of your poem, please.
Another one. Okay. This one's called Somebody's Child.
Yeah.
What do you tell your child when you put him to sleep? You ask the angels his precious soul to keep. You dream of a time he first will creep, or what will be the first word he'll speak. For his first baby steps you want to be there, and his independent potty use you want to chair. You want him to thrive and develop well, have a caring heart and the truth to live and tell. a gifted musician with a penchant for dance, schooling second to none if given the chance. To mature as a man of character and charm, who works hard, loves life and comes to no harm, grows old and grey with a legacy to unfold of a life well lived and fond memories told. But what if his life was under constant threat, and every step he took outside you would fret? For the angels were now demons with weapons of war, hell-bent on unleashing some fictitious score against your child, striving from day to day, simply trying to navigate and find his way. What if there's a plot to have him stunted and blocked, his inner beauty and potential to never be unlocked, his triumphs belittled, and he's treated as naught? He internalizes the oppression, causing him to self-doubt. Doors don't open for him, placed last in every queue. Opportunities don't knock, even when the time is well overdue. Trapped and forced to accept that he will never belong. The caged bird is gagged from singing its song. The impact rips into his psyche, mars his heart, mars his path, and damns his every attempt to restart. Boxed in, locked down, his struggle is so intense. Win or lose, his possibilities will never be immense. Consider him, so much promise on the wings of his mama's prayer. See the hand of grace given and his way becoming clear. But cry as you watch his body drained of life's special breath, and ask if you could have prevented this untimely death by opposing entrenched constructs that demonize the minority, whilst propping up the privileged, promoting their priority. It takes a whole village to bring up a child, and to say we were remiss is putting it far too mild.
Marvellous. No, absolutely. What inspired you to write that one?
Well, it's still about George Floyd, because this book called 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
Hold your book up to the camera, please. Hold your book up to the cameras.
Yes, this book.
And show us where you can. Yes. Where can we get it from?
It's on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. Yeah.
It's on Amazon, and that's what inspired me really. That, you know, we've got to realize that these people who are dying in this way, they're somebody's child. Yeah. Somebody's child. Yeah. They could be your child. Mm-hmm. They're all our children. That's right. You know what I mean? And it's to have a heart. Yeah. Have a heart. Absolutely. Simple. Marvelous.
Maureen, we got to wrap up the program. Let me say thank you, Maureen Watson.
Thank you for having me.
It's been fun. Anybody want to give a shout out to while we're here? Anybody want to shout out to?
Yeah, I want to shout out to my brothers, Joel, Noel, my son Lamar and Nahum as well, my family, Big Ship Alliance as well, my work team, and everybody who knows me really. Just a shout out, my church.
Yes. Big shout out to your church.
Yeah.
Let me say it's been great having you. Shake my hand.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the privilege.
You're welcome anytime. Right. Let me say, well, thank you for coming to a program, Maureen Watson. It's been marvelous. I remember your last name.
Yes, well done.
Because you tell me the Sherlock Holmes thing. Yeah. Right, let me say thank you guys for tuning into the program. I'm Carl with the C. Want to say thanks to our producer. He's done great again this week. Let me say marvelous. I know you're shaking your head there.
Yes, I am.
He's a been absolute marvelous producer. And so let me say, guys, thank you for tuning into the program wherever you are in the world. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The program will be uploaded if you don't watch it live, and it will be on Facebook. And don't forget also, we got quite a few more things at YouTube Breakthrough TV. You know what I mean? There's the Simadan Festival that we actually covered, which is actually marvelous. We also did the Queen's Battle Relay, which is also up there. You know what I mean? And this is the program 66, so you can actually go back to program 1, and they're all there. All you have to go is to YouTube Breakthrough TV, and you will find us there. My time is up. Look after yourself. God bless you. Catch you back again next week. I am Carl with What's on Your Mind. Big shout out to Breakthrough TV. Thank you, sir.
On Your Mind is sponsored by ACMC 339 Dudley Road, New Star Radio 98.7 FM, Breakthrough Studios, and Reggae Jam Jam.
Planning an event? Do it professionally. Please contact Breakthrough Event Management Team and get everything under one roof for both indoor and outdoor occasions, birthday parties, bridal and baby showers, anniversaries, funerals, backyard BBQs and more. We offer a video and photography service, marquees, decoration and a PA system to hire, with popular new style radio DJs spinning old and new school hits. Please contact 07584 197 380 and book all your catering needs with Reggae Jam Jam catering service on 0787 244 3765. And remember, do it good and done.